Hello. My name is Karen and I am from Central Maryland. And I live with my husband and one of my kiddos and my 6 cats. And this is my YouTube channel called Natrinka. And I like to talk about knitting, and I took a kind of a long break, so I'm kind of getting back into this a little bit. I am currently in Vermont, and it is like a balmy 15 degrees out right now. But yeah, it's beautiful, and I did some shopping and stuff, which I'll talk about later on. But yeah, I'm basically here to share my knitting and sometimes crochet and spinning and even more rarely weaving, which I haven't done in a really long time, even though I have a loom. So today I have some finished objects and I have some works in progress, and I do have a little bit of shopping that I think I'm gonna share with you because I got to go to some yarn shops that are new to me that I don't normally get to go to because I don't live in Vermont. So yeah, all right, so let me show you some of my finished objects first. All right, so the first one is a skein of yarn that I spun, and I don't know, let me see if I turn this light on, if the light is better. Maybe. All right, so this is was a bat from Polymorph Dyeworks, and I spun it on my Ashford Kiwi 3 maybe, and I don't know, yeah, you can see it's burgundy, like maroonish, and it's got a ton of this yellow silk. Now what I have decided is that I really like, and I don't know, it's just super bulky and I have no idea how much I got. Oh, it smells so nice though. And I think, here you can see, lots of that yellow silk and then some other like pops of color. I don't know if you can see, there's green. The purple are my ties. And this is how I learned this from the Knit Girls. I just use a Tyvek wristband. And if you use Sharpie, you can put it in the bath and it doesn't run or get ruined or anything like that. But that's kind of how I keep track of what the name or the fiber. This one it didn't say, except that I do know based on spinning before that this all is silk. I think I have decided that I like spinning braids more because they are like a little easier. I like things that are smooth, and this is not smooth, so I don't know. I think maybe a hat might come out of this, or a pair of mitts, or a muff. It's pretty soft. We'll see, right? I don't know. All right, so the next thing I finished were my mittens. These are for me, and I used the World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits. That's how this is 2-ply, by the way. World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits. These are in Hue Loco, beach glass, in worsted weight. My husband bought this yarn for me in Colorado when he went 3 years ago, maybe 2021, I think is when he went I don't remember. I feel like it was the winter of 2021 that he went and bought me this yarn from a yarn shop, and he did not know what Hue Loco was, but he bought me 2 skeins of it, which I thought was very lovely. So yeah, and they're super pretty, and I wore them today to the supermarket because like I am not used to this temperature. Just saying, it's freaking cold out there. 7 degrees when we left this, we're in a cabin, and it was 7 degrees when we left this cabin this morning. And I'm sorry, but that's kind of early and cold. It was freezing. All right, sorry. I'm done with my complaining now. All right, my final finished object, dun, dun, dun. And they're not, the ends are not woven in, but that is not a deal breaker in terms of being finished or not, because I have definitely worn socks without the ends woven in. So, all right. So, look at how pretty these are. So these are Muststash Yarn in the Bohemian colorway, and then the toes and heels are in Muststash Yarn. It's like autumn 2020 something. I don't remember exactly what it's called. Sorry. But I got it at SSK. It was a 50-gram skein, and I bought it for the express purpose of using it to put in heels and toes. Yeah, mostly heels though, because when you knit self-striping socks and you do the heel, like this is a toe up. Who is the person? I can't remember her name. I said it in the last video. Socks from the Toe Up is the name of the book, but I don't remember the person's name. But if I can remember it, I'll put it in the show notes. Anyway, I knit my socks toe up, and it's toe up with a gusset, because then it's wide enough for me. I knit these on size 2.25, which is a US 1, I think. And I actually did 60 stitches on these, because I'm finding, maybe my knitting is getting looser, but I'm finding that my 64 stitches is a little too loose for me. So I tried it on 60, but I increased my gusset stitches to 64. So then I did 64 stitches in the back, 60 in the front until this marker, at which point I increased the front 2 stitches. So then it was 32, 32, bada bing. So, yeah, anyway, I like doing heels in a different color because it throws off the striping pattern if you don't. Now, I saw from 72 Stitches, Lisa, knit all the yarn, that if you have a cake of yarn and you're knitting from the outside and you don't want to disrupt your striping pattern, take from the inside of that ball and knit your heel, and then go back to the outside. So it's still a stripy heel, but it doesn't disrupt the striping pattern. Now this pattern lasts until like here. So that is an incredibly long repeat. That's one of the reasons I think that Muststash Yarns is so cool, because it's like, you never know, man, when it's gonna, I mean, I got two repeats, and then there's an Uchi bit more. That's crazy. That's crazy. And these are a little bit longer. I also stole this from Lisa. These are, stitch markers, light bulb markers. So I mark every 10 rows, and I'm not the kind, I don't know exactly, like, I don't know how many rows I'm going to feel like knitting, but this way I know that my feet at least are the same length. So that's why I do that, because sometimes because I have some pairs of socks where there's like a considerable difference in length, because I got bored or I don't know. You know what? Who knows, right? But anyway, so these are beautiful. And they are for me. Yay. And I love them. So there's that. So I have 2 works in progress that I have been actively working on. Now, the first one, which you guys saw last week, is the Innsbruck shawl. Or it's not a shawl, it's a scarf. See, like this. And it is a pattern, I think, by Bumblebee Acres. And this is my Advent from Bumblebee Acres. So I was somewhere in here last week. So I finished this and now I'm on to this color, which is like, I don't know if you can see, it's like browns and greens and creams and some like steely bluish gray. It's very pretty. And I am really loving the way this looks. This is the color, and I don't remember what it's called. But this is the color. So you do 4 rows or 2 garter bumps of this in between each of the like Advent-y colors. And it's gorgeous. It's like really beautiful. I really love this color, this creamy color. Oh, I love the way yarn smells. Anyway, so yeah, that's a fun pattern. I really like this. When we drove, I finished these in the car coming. So what we did, I'll talk about this later. Anyway, I knit these in the car. That's how I got them finished. So yeah. But anyway, and I knit this too because it's a very, 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 very simple pattern. It's a one every pattern. You can't put markers, but you do the same thing every pattern, every row. And it's very easy. And I think it is like really quite beautiful. So you can make it really big and make a blanket out of it. And that would be really nice too. So anyway, yeah. All right, my next thing that I'm working on is a little tiny mitten for a little tiny person who really likes orange. This is Red Heart, I think. I am not a tremendous fan of this yarn, but I think it is silly to knit wool mittens for kids yet. So we'll see how that goes. And the reason is because I do not want to give parents something that they feel will be precious. Like if a kid loses, how many kids, I mean, I still lose mittens. Like how many times do kids lose mittens? I don't want to make something for somebody and then feel bad that their kid lost it. You can't help it. They fall out of your pocket. They fall out of car doors. Like, you know, in the grocery store. It's happened to, you know, all of us. My kid used to lose shoes, like whole shoes. So, you know, I don't want to make something for somebody and then not want their kid to use it. Does that make sense? Also, sometimes wool, you got to care for it a little bit different. And these can just get thrown in the washer and the dryer. And when this little one grows out of these, you know, and they're a little older, because I think they're only 2.5, I can make them another pair. And if they're older and their parents are like wanting, I can make wool. I can do superwash or something like that. I just don't want anybody to feel like worried some type of way about me making them something. And those are easy. Like they're still handmade, but they're pretty rugged and they're not going to get dirty. Or if they do, you put them in the washer and dryer. So anyway, all right. So I want to share one thing that is probably going to start for the ride home. And these are going to be socks for my Sai. This is Tempting You, and it is called Flaming Star. Now, I am lucky enough to live in Maryland, and about an hour or so from Clover Hill Yarn Shop, which is where I purchased this. And the pretend fire just lit. Actually, it's not a pretend fire. It's a real fire, but it's part of the heating system in this cabin. Kind of pretty. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm going to make them a pair of socks. And I'm going to use a pattern. So I'm either thinking of a waffle stitch or the Rye Light, I think, from Tin Can Knits. If you have an idea of like a pattern that involves knits and pearls, that's it. That's all I want. I'm not doing lace. Just saying. Let me know if you have an idea. I'll show you here. Let's unravel it. I don't think I've ever done that with this yarn. So yeah, it's sort of, so it is going to have some pooling slash micro striping, which is why I am thinking of the waffle, because I think the fact that the color or the pattern changes every 2 rows will maybe prevent it from pooling a lot, or I don't know, maybe Sai won't worry too much if it pools. So we'll see. All right. Now, let's see. Well, let me tell you what I'm reading, which of course I forgot. I can't remember. Oh wait, I can tell you because I put it in my show notes. Okay, it's called Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. It's the 2nd book in the Throne of Glass series. And let me tell you something. It is not going the way I want. Well, not the way I wanted it to go. It's not going the way I thought it was going to go. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is super hot and heavy. And I was sort of expecting the same thing, frankly, out of this series. And that's not what it is. It's a lot more character development and some kind of weird twists and turns. So I have 3 hours left because I do audio listening. I have 3 hours left of this book. And I did buy the next, which is like A Crown of Fire or something like that. Throne of Fire. I don't remember, but I'll probably start that because I only have 3 hours left of this. And Dan listens to the Grateful Dead and all kinds of stuff on the way in the car. And after a while, I can't do it for the whole time. So listening to my book helps me not go cuckoo bananas on him or the radio. Sorry, I have this cough. It's like, I was sick last week. And so this is like my little, whatchamacallit. And me and Dan have been watching the A-Team at night, the original 1983 A-Team. I bought him the season 1 on Amazon. And so every night we've been watching an episode, and it's fun. I mean, it's very funny because it's very clear that the people in the theatrics and the dance moves or gymnast moves that these stunt people have to do, no one gets killed. Everybody does these amazing theatrics and gymnastics moves to get out of cars that are getting blown up by grenades and dynamite dropped from helicopters. It's fine. I do love it. The only blood I've seen so far is like legitimate fake blood where they're like, put this fake blood capsule in your mouth when they're staging fights or whatever. So, and he very much, Dan does not like anything violent, sad, too sexy, or scary. So that cuts out a fair number of programs for us. But I also don't like scary or sad. I don't mind bloody or sexy. Like I watched all of Outlander, so clearly that doesn't bother me. But he does not like it. And so A-Team is like right up his alley. Anyway, so we are in Vermont, and that's part of my sweater. We got here. So what we did is we left on Tuesday, around 2:30-ish or so, and we drove to Albany, New York. Once we got to Albany, we got a hotel room and stayed overnight, and then we woke up very early yesterday morning, and we drove to a ski resort called Magic Mountain in Vermont. I dropped Dan off, and then I had the whole day until 4:15 to pick him up. I dropped him off about 9 o'clock. So I did two things, or three things, I guess. I went to 2 yarn shops, and then I went and visited a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a very, very long time. And we had lunch. So I went to 2 yarn shops, and I am going to show you what I got because I don't normally get to go to yarn shops. And I actually went to New Hampshire. So I left Vermont because last year when we did this, I went to Vermont yarn shops. So this time I went to New Hampshire yarn shops. And it was called Hodgepodge Yarns. I linked their Facebook page down below because I don't think they have a website. But I bought these 3 hand spun yarns, and they are alpaca, and they're very, they might have wool in them too, I'm not sure. But they're very, very soft and very beautiful. And the lady who spins them also works there. They're really full of, I don't know if you can see that, the veg matter that's in them. But they're very pretty. They're very soft. It's 4 ounces of each. So it's like 800 yards, I think. And what I think I'm going to do, well, actually I have a couple of different ideas, but I might make a shawl. I might do a gradient shawl where because I also watch Chem Knits. So what I might do is kettle dye them at different depths of shade, like 1% depth of shade, 0.5% depth of shade, 0.25% depth of shade, something along those lines, so that I get like a true gradient. And we'll see what happens. But I thought it would be fun to like play around with it a little. And they had mostly commercial yarns there. They maybe there were a few hand knit, but my God, there was so much yarn in this store. I was like so overwhelmed. They had everything. Like it felt like they had entire, like every line of Cascade, every line of Plymouth, so much Noro. They had like so much like Italian and German sock yarns and Premier yarns and just so much, so much. And I was super overwhelmed because there was a lot of yarn. Like if you are the kind of, like this is knit with Plymouth Encore, I think. If you are the kind of person that likes to knit sweaters, like I'm pretty sure they had like sweater quantities for me and even bigger sizes than me in most of the colors they had. It was like the size of a house filled with shelves of yarn. So I bought this. I like to buy, so these will be socks for me. And it's Cascade Yarn Heritage Prints. And this is what they say it will look like. I just thought that would be fun for a sock for myself, right? I also bought, this is Plymouth Yarn Dream Baby DK. A friend of mine at work is having a grandbaby, her first, I think, human, right? Not canine or feline, or bird. But anyway, so I bought this because I thought it would make a cute little baby hat. And then I bought an orifice hook and a little kitty cat's stitch marker. Yeah, really cute, right? So then I left that store and I went on down to Harrisville Designs. And let me tell you, it was like chic, super chic and super beautiful. And I only had like 20 minutes to spend there. So I couldn't do much, but I got this bag because, you know, I love a good tote bag. And this one I thought was really pretty, and it reminded me of like the mountains that we're staying in and that kind of stuff. So, and then I think that I'm going to make the pressed flowers cardigan. And I was thinking about like a sport weight yarn that was non-superwash, because I think if you're familiar with the pressed flowers sweater, it's like a base color, and then they use spin cycle and they create, I'm pretty sure it's a mosaic stitch, but I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is, to create like these flowers. And then there's a great, you know, the color changes as the sweater, I think it's knit bottom up. So as you knit, the color changes. Well, I have a ton of hand spun, and if I don't have the color I want, I have 8 billion braids and bats and that kind of stuff that I can use to make hand spun to go with this sweater. So anyway, the lady that was there knit hers in Shetland, which looks like this, right? But I bought a cone. So there are 900 yards of yarn on this cone. 900 for $26. Okay, this has 200 yards for $10.95. So I bought this and this. I could have probably bought another cone, but I do not need 1,800 yards of this yarn. And so they said this is a lot thinner because it still has spinning oil in it. So I think what I'm gonna do is skein it up and wash it, and then knit from there, I think is what I'm gonna do. Because I don't, they said that your gauge can change because it's so much thinner. And you can see that. Like if you look at the sort of plumpness of this versus this, there is a difference. And I don't want to screw up a sweater. Also, I'm probably not going to swatch. I hope no one that really cares about swatching is listening. I don't mean to offend anybody. I just don't want to do it. Sorry. All right. I also bought, because I have their loom. So this is these are winter white loops for the pro size. So I bought these so I have a little bit more versatility, because the colors I have are very, I have a very bright pack and a very pastel pack. And I thought this would be helpful with either one. And I also bought these, which are like little wooden loops so that you can hang your pot holders from like a hook or something. And I was like, all right, well, there you go. So yeah, that's what I bought. I didn't go crazy. I didn't buy a whole bunch. I was very purposeful in my buying, which is shocking, right? So yeah, so today I'm gonna watch some podcasts. We had pasta and sauce for dinner last night. I'm gonna eat what is left from that, and I bought myself a chicken Caesar salad from the grocery store and some soda, and I have some yogurt and berries and granola, which I can have as a snack, or bagel, or Dan brought our cereal with us. So yeah, but that's where we are. So on our way home, so today I think I'm gonna mostly work on my scarf, my Innsbruck scarf. And then I will probably, I don't have my skein winder, so I'll hand wind this and maybe start these tomorrow. I gotta get a pattern. So for real, if you have a pattern sock that would look nice with that yarn, and you think of it, if you would let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you want to like this, that would be so exciting. If you want to subscribe, I don't know. Yeah, so we're here until we leave Tuesday morning, which incidentally is my happy birthday. I'll be 51. And I have liked being 50 a lot. I find that it is like liberating. I'm like elastic pants. Say what I think. Whatever, man. Whatever. I do not care anymore, which is good. I mean, I do care. I'm not gonna lie. I do care. But I don't care the same way or about the same things that I used to. Let's just say that. All right. Have a great week. Let's see if we can do this again next week. Yeah, all right. Stay warm, stay dry, stay safe. I hope that you are doing something that you love. I hope that you are treating yourself with kindness and that others are treating you with kindness and you are treating others with kindness. I hope that we realize that genocide is not okay. I hope that we realize that Palestine has the right to exist. I hope that we realize that someone else's gender is none of your business other than to treat them with the respect and kindness that every human being in this world deserves. And yeah, read banned books. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for other people that maybe can't stand up for themselves. Be an upstander. Even if it's scary, it's okay. Yeah, all right, guys. See you later.